Welcome to the Creative Diaries. Today I'm here with Aggy K Adams. First off, hi Aggy, how are you?
Hi Ciara, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for being here. So I've been starting off with people quite chronologically in terms of asking them how they got into what they do. So I was wondering what your earliest memory is of wanting to be an actor.
Well, my earliest memory, I think it would be watching Natalie Portman in Star Wars. I think I must have been, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, maybe even younger. And my parents got me the VHS cassette. It was in Poland as well, so yeah, that's how I used to watch movies, which is crazy. So I got the VHS cassette and I saw Natalie Portman and I was like, I want to be that. I want to play a princess in space. So still trying.
Do you think it was Natalie Portman or do you think it was the character?
Oh, I didn't know anything about her then, so it was definitely the character. I didn't know who she was. I just thought she looked really cool. And it was I think it was the film Attack of the Clones, which now rewatching it is not my favorite film anymore,
Yeah.
but at the time it was. And yeah, also I grew up in Poland, so for me, I definitely had the American dream. I'd watch American movies thinking that I want to be there, obviously dreaming as a little girl.
And is your family creative?
So, do you know what? They would laugh if I said yes, because I think they are, even though they don't do anything creative. My dad is running a small business and my mom's helping him and running the house. So they have nothing to do with the creative world. But they really love music and art, and they're really interested in what I do. They have no idea about film. My mum still freaks out when she watches me. She thinks it's me if I have red hair. She's like, what have you done? Or if I have a fake tattoo. So it's very new to them. They're definitely not from the creative world.
Okay, and what were the steps in between you watching Star Wars and then kind of deciding this was going to be your career path? Did you always want to be an actor, or did you have different things you wanted to do along the way?
So being an actress was my first. I think before wanting to be an actress, maybe there was something else. I think a vet, as
cool.
everyone. But being an actress was my first sort of dream, so to speak. But then, for many, many years, I didn't think it was possible. I've tried applying to universities. I wanted to study. I wanted to study law, or actually, it's still my dream. I wanted to be a humanitarian lawyer. So it was a dream in the beginning, and then I left it for a long time. And then I moved to London, and just lots of things happened. I didn't get into any universities I wanted to go to at the time when I was 18. I ended up moving to London to just live and see what I want to do. And I got a job at the theatre as a front of house usher. And it just started to interest me more and more. But I was exploring lots of different avenues. I just didn't believe I could. I mean, I had the dream, but I didn't believe it could happen, would happen, and how do I do it? I'm just from Poland, just came to London. How do I become an actress? So I have no idea how it happened, honestly. It's so, like, looking back, it was, when was it? About 9 years ago. Yeah, when I moved here. It's been a crazy journey, really, really crazy.
What theatre did you used to usher at?
They used to have the show on called The Blood Brothers, and
Okay.
it's called Phoenix Theatre.
Ooh.
Do you know where that is? It's on Charing Cross, just opposite Foyles now.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't used to be Foyles then.
Yeah.
But
No, I have, because I've heard of it, but in my mind it was a comedy venue for some reason.
maybe because now they have this. I think now they have they've changed the musicals, but I'm not sure they have one now, actually.
Okay. So when you moved here, how long do you think it was between you that you kind of decided to go for it and figured out what you want to do?
It's a very interesting question. I would say in my case, everything has been due to my self-confidence. When I was 18, 19, 20, I just genuinely didn't think I was good enough to even try. So for a long time, I wouldn't even do anything towards acting. And then I think only by 20, 21, I was just working and trying to survive on minimum wage, and then I think I was working as a hostess doing events, so I'd hold a tray of canapes, and through that I met lots of other actors. And I remember, I think I met a guy who said, I go to this acting school called Giles.
Oh, okay.
Giles is, yeah, and why don't you come and check out a class? And I went in, and we had this crazy exercise. How is it called? You know, when you're like in a circle and you go in?
The circle dance.
The circle dance, yeah. So I did that, and I just realized that I really loved it, and people would tell me that I'm good at it. From then on, I started thinking, okay, could I do this? Could I make money from it? Could I live of it? And that was back in, I think, 2012. So how many years ago would that be? 7?
Yeah.
So about 7 years ago, when I started to think that way. And then it took until, and then I was training. I ended up training there, and just slowly becoming more confident. I think in 3 years later, I got my first agent, and in 2015. So I've started auditioning, I think in the summer of 2015 for the first time, which was a disaster. It was a terrible experience because I was so insecure. And my agent at the time, very, very great agency, but just I couldn't handle the pressure, and I don't think I was quite ready. They were sending me for lots of big auditions, and I would just I freaked out many times, even though I thought they went well. But my agent ended up basically dropping me after 6 months.
Oh God.
I know. So the beginnings were really tough. I don't know why. I think it was a lot of things. It was we just didn't get on. I felt very pressured and insecure, and just wasn't ready. But I continued training, and then I signed with someone else in March 2016, so 3.5 years ago, and that's when I started actually working, and I got myself together, and just had to realize that yes, I'm going to do this. That's the decision, because it has to happen in your mind. I'm good enough. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for it. And that big transition happened after I've been dropped by my first agent. It had to happen so I would realize in myself that I want this. And then I started working and have, God bless, haven't stopped yet. So very
That's amazing.
lucky.
Can you talk us through a bit of your training? What kind of classes did you do?
Sure. At Giles's, we did everything, from working on with American acting coaches on method, such as Roberta, to working more structurally as well, naming your actions and activities. I'm very glad I learned that. I don't really use it, to be fair. I would use it if I'm really, really stuck, if I have no idea what's going on in the scene and in the script. But I prefer working instinctively, and my favorite bit of training, I think, working with this lady called Bathsheba Garnett, who was running those classes called Simplicity. And she taught me how to just have a thought and simply say it, which is what we do in real life.
Yeah.
So why don't we do it? But it took me a long time I'm still learning. I still have, the other week I had a freak out, and I just couldn't say the lines simply. I would try to put something on, or when you're not quite sure of what you're doing, you just don't believe yourself. So you try to cover it up, and that's just awful. So obviously I'm still learning, but yeah, just having a thought and saying it simply and letting go, being in the moment. And I've done lots of Meisner as well. So yeah, that and Meisner and method is sort of my thing. I mix it depending on what I feel instinctively the scene requires. I'll use different things.
What is your process like? So if you get a script, what's the first couple of things you do?
So it depends how big a script, because if I get a proper script and how much time. So for me, if I get a call with an audition, my first question is by when, and I have to assess, because if it's a big script and 12 pages and it's happened that I have 2 days for that, then I go up on, it's this adrenaline, and I don't even know how I do it. I just push through and do it and just don't look back. But it's very difficult, because afterwards I just feel really bad for a few days because it's so intense. I prefer, if I get the script, if it's, let's say, 10 pages to prepare, 5 days would be amazing if I had, and quite often I do. I want to read it and I want to put it aside for a minute, because I try to read scripts not as an actress who could play in the script. I try to read it objectively every single time, just to see how I connect with the story. And then I'd look at the character that they would like me to do. And first off, I look for an angle to find her or him. I mean, I've only played women so far, but
Yeah.
that's why I say her. I will try to connect to her, figure out what she wants, find it in my body, so it's coming from somewhere. Yeah, figure out what she wants, what she's been through, and then look at the scene and see what's going on in the scene. And then if it's a self-tape, which quite often it is these days, set up a date and go in and play and have fun with it. And then just prep as much as I can and then let it go, let it fly and enjoy it. And quite often I just know I need to make the scene work. And sometimes it's happened, I've changed little things or actions that, for example, there's an action in the script, but I can't really tape it in the self-tape studio because I have no space, and it doesn't look good when I try to, let's say stab someone. But I'll find another action that would give the intention that I felt is required for the scene. And also the last thing I would say, I try to give a little bit of me and show and just reveal something about myself in the scene, about who I am. So bring me to the character. Sorry, it's a bit complicated.
No, that was really
chaotic.
helpful.
I don't know. Was it?
Yeah, because I was just
God.
thinking, God, if I had to stab someone in a scene, there's a part of me that, just gets... I actually never thought of trying to do something else that just represents it, or,
Really?
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I do it quite often. Just so I find something physical that would... I think for stabbing out, I could even just... How do you call this when you...
Oh, yeah, you're ring your wrist.
Ring something, ring a towel, or pull the towel, just to generate the intensity. I don't know, I do lots of different weird stuff I've done.
Okay.
The self-tapes.
For when you were saying there was 3 years before you got your first agent, how did you deal with moments of instability or self-doubt?
How did I deal with it then or now? Because that's a big difference.
Okay, both I suppose, if you found a coping mechanism.
Okay, so when I got my first agent, and I'm guessing also the reason it didn't work out then that well is because I was taking things very personally. I couldn't quite cope with rejection. I would get very, very down if I didn't get cast, or I would just have freakouts all the time. Like you said, in moments of self-doubt, I would allow my mind to take me down the rabbit hole. And then in my head, I'd get such bad anxiety thinking that, oh my God, I'll never get a job. I'm going to die. I have no money. And it can really trip you badly. I had lots of bad trips. Through talking to a lot of people, more experienced actors, and just getting lots of support in the industry, I've been very lucky to have met incredible supporting friends. I slowly started realizing that this is not serving me in any positive way. So every time my anxiety would kick in about work, I would catch myself and I'd say, stop, everything's fine. You're not dying, you're creating. So to realize that it's about me creating something, not about me getting or not getting or what the result is. It's about me enjoying the creation. Obviously, I still have moments when that little saboteur, how do you call it, little person sabotaging you in your head tells me, you're not doing enough, you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not working enough, your projects are not high profile enough. It happens, but I have a lot more control over it now. So it doesn't take me down the rabbit hole, and I allow myself to have a bad day as well. It's okay, sometimes you're not on top of it. It doesn't intensify because I don't allow it. I think it's actually the most important skill to learn how to be an artist and how to live as an actor, not just how to do acting. Because I have the most talented friends, and their mindset is so negative that it wouldn't allow them to get past that to actually be able to create something. And it happens a lot. I see it. Yeah, I think we need to just support each other and talk about it more, because it's very, very difficult to get out of your own head. Very, very hard.
Yeah. Because one of the things while you're talking about supporting people a lot more is you're involved in a lot of, well, doing work with women and promoting equality. What led you down that path, and where did you get these opportunities, or did you seek them out?
You know, I think it's because I'm a woman working in the industry. Obviously, I'm in that box, and I was very lucky enough to work with wonderful female directors, such as Christina, for example, who directed Ramona. And for me, just observing these women and I was watching Viola Davis a lot. She's my role model, actually. And like she says that it all starts from knowing that you deserve all of this, because we were taught that we don't deserve, or that we're not good enough, that we have to work so hard to be worthy, but we don't. We are worthy, and we deserve and to be there. And through working, I met, like I said, lots of incredible women, and one of them is running a magazine called Cine Girl that connects women working in the industry. It's about from across the board, not just actors obviously, but crew members, especially writers, directors. And she's asked me to be an ambassador, and I think it's a beautiful project, and I accepted. But yeah, that came to me. But I'm also working on a project myself, just my side project about. It's a story about how do you find self-worth, how do you get to the place where you can genuinely stand tall and say, yeah, I deserve to be here, I deserve to ask for things, I deserve to create, and I deserve to receive. And if we weren't brought up in that mindset, because it's quite new that women, are speaking out, I think it's really important, and we need to talk more. So even now I feel insecure talking about this because it's still difficult.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Yeah, I think so too. I do find it hard in some cases if you work hard for something, or you are doing the work, and I do think you deserve definitely to. It's just hard too. Yeah.
It's so hard. Yeah, even talking here now, I'm thinking, who am I to say? Really, I haven't done anything. But I'm learning to know that I'm good enough. I think we're all I'm sure it's the same journey for you.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I do think sometimes, God, afterwards, why didn't I? Like even the other day I went to help a friend with a self-tape, and by the end it was so late by the time, he was happy with it and we got it right. And then he was like, do you want an Uber home? I was like, no, just come to the comedy night. Bye, gotta go. And then ran off.
Take the Uber.
I know. I decided to walk home, and the entire way I was like, I don't know, my breathing was just like, huh, and then I was looking behind me every 5 seconds because in my mind there was always someone behind me. And then nothing happened. I was completely fine. But then just silly little things, like I won't allow people to buy me drinks, or unless I know them like really well.
Yeah.
And then I feel guilty afterwards, so sometimes I'm like, oh. And it's really silly things like just letting people do nice things for you. You know what I mean?
It's really tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same as I have the same every time something good happens, or there's a lot of good things happening, like I get jobs, or somebody wants to work with me that I've always wanted to. My first thought is oh my God, they'll see that I'm terrible, and they'll find out that they actually don't want to work with me. So, but it's so good that I think that we're aware of that. That's step number one, isn't it? Just knowing
definitely
that this happens, so next time you can say, actually, yes, I'd love a drink from you, thank you, because somebody offered.
Yeah.
So why don't you say yes?
Or even just, I remember I asked this guy to be on the podcast about 2 weeks ago, and he was really enthusiastic and stuff, and we were getting on really well, and we were chatting for about an hour. And then as things progressed, around the hour mark, I was like, okay, I'm running out of conversation. He's gonna soon find out you're not that cool. Now is the appropriate time to leave. So I left very abruptly.
Oh my God. I do it all the time. Yeah, my favorite bit is auditions, where I never try to talk to casting directors, as in I'm there to do the job. But then when they talk to me, I'm always like, oh, are they talking to me because they really think I'm good, or they're just chatting, and I'm like, oh, I think I should leave because I'm not good enough to be talking to this person.
Oh gosh.
I do the same thing. No, but it comes and goes in waves. I have, better. We both do. I'm sure we all do have better days, but it's good to recognize that we're not alone when that happens. When we get in our heads.
Yeah, definitely.
And just like abort mission, just leave. Run. Yeah, I have it all the time. And I actually, when I notice that, I check myself and I'm like, hang on a minute. Why? Why do I leave? It's okay. I can stay and talk to this person. It's because they're more powerful doesn't mean they're better. Yeah. We're all equal. So, it's a journey. It's definitely, and I can just realizing when I'm talking to you and going back in time, I've really realized how much I've grown even in the last 2 years. It's crazy.
Do you have a goal when you talk about where you've come? Where would you like to be in, the next 2 years?
Yeah.
Or the next 5?
I have been thinking about this a lot, especially this summer. For some reason I felt like a new chapter kind of thing. What do I want to do? I would like to get more experience in film and TV for sure. I would like to work with new exciting directors as well as, old and established. I would like to get more experience and explore more, play different characters. I'd love to, do a period piece, for example. And I keep being cast as sort of crazy, troubled teenagers, which is really fun and awesome. But I'd like to play someone normal in the sense of, well, except for the costume piece that I've just mentioned, a normal, I don't know, a wife who and tell a very intimate story of a relationship and family. But at the same time, I'd love to be in the crazy Marvel film and, kick some ass and do my own stunts and, train physically for 3 months. I just would like to experience more, build up some solid body of work and then see what happens next. I'm very much involved in the charity campaign that we're doing 11. So I'd love to continue doing charity work. I'm still exploring that because at the moment everything is just a lot because it's quite new to me. So I have to focus on acting at the moment. But yes, getting more experience and working on charity projects, perhaps helping kids, refugees. It's my big thing. I'll just see what comes in the next couple of years. Definitely distribute my energy between filming and charity work.
When you were talking there about the characters you'd like to play in the future, I started to think a little bit about what characters you don't want to play. Is there anything you stay away from when you get a script, or characters you definitely are like, oh no, not for me?
Yes, I personally really don't like characters that are very stereotypical. There's let's say a woman, Eastern European girl who's a prostitute, but there's no reason for her to be Eastern European and prostitute. It's just a stereotype how people from the West see Eastern European women, or they always have to be really beautiful and served sort of as the male fantasy. And that really annoys me and bugs me. And I read it a lot in scripts and I tell my agents and they say, yeah, I know it's terrible. We all think it's terrible. But they keep writing it because, for TV especially, because that's the image. And in general, I don't really like characters that are written not in a human way, but as a stereotype. So you just serve, you might as well get a picture. It's not, I prefer to work on real people who, I think it's, like I said, I think it's down to writing. The sort of image of a pretty girl that just serves the male ego for a minute. I just hate that in scripts. It's boring to me. It's uninteresting. It doesn't go anywhere, doesn't serve anyone, doesn't do anything for the story in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my personal.
Okay.
You're like, oh my god, that's a lot of hate. No, but yeah, it's just that image of a woman, and especially a sort of Eastern European woman, that sometimes I come across that I dislike in scripts. That's all.
And since acting is, mainly a collaboration, I was wondering if there's anyone you've worked with or kind of a team that you've really thought wow, I'd love to work with them again. That's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, I would love to work with Christina Jacob again, who directed Oh Ramona. There's a director I've just shot a music video with, whom I really really love, Kez, and it's, for me it is all about working with directors, to be honest, because this is actually when you said what do you want to do, what I've said to my new team. I said I want to work with good directors. I want to find the director I want to work with. And my first thing, I've never worked with a Polish director, and I really wanted to. And I got a job with an amazing Polish director called Kuba Czekaj, and we're shooting next year. And I'm very excited about that. It's for me, it's about the connection.
Yeah.
If we just look at each other and we just know, or he tells me one thing and we just, it's this thing, you just look for a collaborator you can create with, and it's someone I have to really trust as well, because I'm putting my vulnerability in their hands. So yeah, it's very exciting for me working with directors.
Yeah, and did his team approach you, or did you, since you were looking for someone, did you go out and look?
No, so it was actually, I got a script through an audition request, a self-tape, because he was in Poland and the casting director is based in Berlin. So they've sent me all the information, and I remember the first time I've said, oh look, I'm Polish, can I read the script in Polish? It sort of never happened. I just did the tape, and then he asked me to do a recall tape. Very funny recall tape. Just do the script, but imagine you're a dog and I love those. Hilarious. I shot it actually on holiday in Barbados, so that was really tough to shoot in. It was difficult to find a quiet space with no tropical birds screaming. But I did the recall tape, and again I said, hi, I'm Polish. I told my agents to pass on the message, but somehow, and then I said as well that I would love to go and meet him in person, because I'm Polish, I can easily fly there. And a few days later they said, Kuba, I would love to meet you. I said, yay! So I was very excited. Got off the plane from Barbados, got on the plane to Poland, met him, and then he said, oh my gosh, you're Polish, I only found out a few days ago. And I said, what do you mean? Nobody told you? He's like, no. So he had no idea I was Polish, and somehow the message just got lost because there's so many people to go through. And we had a great chat about the script, story, and life. And I heard back maybe 2 months later, just literally last week, so that he would love to work with me. And I thought he didn't, to be honest, because obviously I didn't hear for a long time. But so that's how it happened. It was just an audition coming through.
Okay.
My agent.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about O Ramona, because it seems like life has changed a little bit. Your following, everything has gotten a bit more crazy since the film.
The Instagram thing. Yeah, it has. It was very, very unexpected. I'm going to be really honest with you. I didn't know anything. I just heard that it was going to be on Netflix original, and everyone's kept telling me it's 190 countries. It's 190 countries, and for some reason it just never registered. I just thought, oh, there's so much stuff on Netflix. I was like, I never expected I never expected the film to get the attention it got, basically. But at the same time, we've all worked really hard on this. I worked really hard on the character, and in the beginning, when I started receiving literally hundreds of messages, I thought they got the wrong person. They don't know I haven't done any, because in my head we shot it, I think 2 years before, or a year and a half before. It was so long done.
Yeah.
It was like, what is going on? It's out of nowhere. I haven't, one day to the next, I'm getting all of these messages and calls, and it took time to adjust, because I used to take every message very personally, and they are really funny, and some of them are really crazy. Some of them are very dark, and in the beginning I used to read all of them, and then now I sort of read every now and then, and I'm just very grateful that people connected to the character and they've enjoyed it. and now I see it as a very positive experience.
Yeah.
I was just very, very scared because I just didn't know what was going on. So I was very scared in the beginning and felt pressure, and everyone just wanted something from me, and I didn't know what can I give, and I constantly felt like I wasn't doing enough. But then I've just relaxed, and it is what it is. It happened. I'm very blessed because I on the back of that, just a lot of things happened for me. So I'm very grateful, and just so happy about this, actually.
Yeah. How did you get that part?
I auditioned. It was also a casting director. I think someone I knew was auditioning for this movie, and then I was helping him with the script, and then I've realized that Ramona fits my casting type, and then the casting director who was casting it knew me. We knew each other. So I think my agent at the time contacted her about this, and she said, yeah, send a self-tape. And I shot a self-tape. I remember very instinctively, because I had no time. Again, it was one of those, can you send it tomorrow because we're already late? So I said, sure. So I just I improvised for one take, and for one we did the scene, and I then I got invited to a couple of chemistry reads with different actors, and then I got Christina offered me the job. So it feels like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very unexpected for me. I did not expect any of this.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I just it's sometimes I still feel the pressure because it's still quite new to do something I'm not doing, or to everyone has a different advice for me. Everyone tells me different. So also, but like you said, just realize, what do I want to do? So that's what I've been thinking of for the last couple of months. What do I want? Yeah.
One of the things I've been asking people regularly in these interviews is, what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self, and what advice would you give to aspiring actors?
So first, to my 16-year-old self, I mean, I was mad when I was 16. I would just hold her and say, it's gonna be okay. You're good enough, and you're beautiful, and you have to love yourself and respect yourself. That's what I would say.
Oh.
And just don't dramatize too much.
Okay.
It's going to work out. It's going to be fine. You're not going to die.
Yeah.
So I think, that to my 16-year-old self, and to an aspiring actor, don't think about what other people want you to be or want you to do, because it's all about what you have to give and offer to someone, and it can only come from you. So you can't want to please anyone or do things for someone. It has to come from you. You have to know why you're doing it and what you can give. Just know yourself deep down and work from there, and then it will attract people will come. But don't try too hard to be something that you think people want, because it's not true.
No. Yeah, that's really good advice.
I hope so.
And lastly, I just wanted to ask, where can people follow you if they want to keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, I guess Instagram. I'm going to be better. I'm going to post more about what I'm doing, but I also never know what I'm allowed to say or not. So now I'm shooting a film in France in October, which I'm really excited about. I will be able to hopefully say what it is very soon. Just need to okay it.
Okay.
And then the movie with Kuba Czekaj, which I already said I'm shooting, so he better be okay with me saying that. I should probably check as well, but I'm sure it's fine. So this is what I'm doing, and I'll be posting things for sure. So yeah, just follow me, and I promise to be better with keeping people updated with what I'm up to.
Do you know your handle?
Yeah,
Gosh.
my Instagram.
Yeah.
yeah, I do. It's just Aggy K Adams.
Okay.
Aggy K Adams.
Perfect. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. I hope I was okay.
No, it was really good.